6, that is Solar and Lucent. I hope every one of you have submitted the project idea. So read and then index searching is done through some queries, different queries like faceting, proximity, and so on. So let's go over the one of the example, like how the indexing is done, how the indexing and searching is done. So you all are familiar with the I think this example, like it's the similar example like we do with the at the end of the chapters, or we can say by the end of the book, all of the chapters of the book, you have the some of the terms which you can search easily, the given the number of the pages, like this particular term is available on this page. So there you have the indexing and searching you can do easily through the book. This is a similar way to that, like you have different terms, and whenever you search for a term or search for a word and search for a for a sentence, I would say, in a document, what things are required. You need to know the it is of the term or word, whatever you are searching for in that document. And ID, sometimes the ID is important. Okay, if you have a lot of words, so okay, you want to search starting in ascending order or descending order. So in that case, the ID is important. Otherwise, the two important things for the inverted index is document and its position. So here is one of the example. The query is to search for a term blue sky. Blue sky, there are two words with a space in between. So this is how you have to search that. We have been given three documents, document 1, document 2, and document 3. So the steps that are involved in for the inverted indexing is, if you see the document 1 say the bright blue butterfly hangs on the breeze. So blue is included there. Similarly, if we see the sky, word sky is included in the document 2, and blue sky is included in document 3. So how would we know? Okay, how would we go to the blue sky directly to the document 3? So the terms that are given from 1 to 13, there are different terms given already. With the document number, that is 2, 1, 3, and so on. And then its position, okay, where exactly this word is positioned. So if we see, for example, the number 1 word, that is best, it's in document 2 on the position 3. Then we have the blue, where we can see blue has appeared 2 times. So this is the in document 1 on position 3, and in document 3 on position 2. So first it will search for the single words, like is it blue, or where the blue is placed or where the sky is placed. And then the matching is done on sequential terms. So how the sequential terms matches? So if you see match on sequential term, it's on the third. We can see in the third document, like we are searching for the same document number, and on the third document, on the second place, the blue is placed, and on the third in the third document, on third place, sky is placed. So this is how an object or a word or a term is searched in the using this inverted indexing by the Lucent and Solar. So this would go in a similar way, like the exactly same example would go in a similar way, how like it is being done if it is placed in some of the storages or container, the number of the documents and how the sequential term, the sequential matching is done. Then we have the pipeline, how the pipeline goes. We have the analyzer, different analyzer, which creates tokens using a tokenizer or applying some filters on that. So which we call as the token filters. So once the document is added, the tokenizer basically applies some of the token filters, where each field can define an analyzer. We have different types of analyzers like white space analyzers and so on. We will see one by one and for what purpose each of them are used for. So will in the upcoming slide we will see that. So each field can define an analyzer and index time or query time, or both at the same time, and after that it is passed to the document writer for the inverted index purpose. So here we have different types of tokenizer, how like the process is done through the different types of analyzers. So here we have first one is this is the whole token. So this is divided into tokens like number of the words. What is a token? It's basically a word. You're applying some filters on that. So white space analyzers we have, which is the simplest built-in analyzers. And then we have the simple analyzer, which is the useful for the lower cases split at non-letter boundaries. So here are some of the analyzers which have different purposes. For example, white space analyzers splits text at the white spaces, just as the name indicates. And in fact, this is only thing this analyzer does. So if we want to split the text at white spaces, then for that purpose, white space analyzer is used. The second one, we have the simple analyzer. Basically, this splits a text at non-letter characters or lower cases, resulting tokens. Then we have the stop analyzer, which splits text at the non-letter characters, also lower cases, which resulting the tokens, and it also removes the stop words. So after that, we have the standard analyzer. This is basically used for the grammar-based tokenization, which normalizes the and lowercase is the tokens. It is useful basically if you have multi-purposes, for example, removing the stop words or discarding some of the punctuations. It can also be used to extract company names or email addresses, model numbers, and so on. So basically, this standard analyzer is useful for journal use, like if you have multiple if you want to address multiple analyzers like lower cases, stop word remover, punctuation remover, and so on. So this is useful in that case. The last one is the snowball analyzer. Basically, this is similar to standard analyzer with an additional snowball filter, which is used for the stemming purpose. Now coming to the Solr. So basically you'll be using the Solr. It's Solr and Lucerne are useful in similar, you can take a simple example like car with an engine, and you cannot start the car without the engine. So Solr basically uses all of the Lucerne libraries, and it is basically, you will be using Solr. It is flexible, and basically this provides a lots of like pluggable, I can say, APIs. Rest of the like the features are same. It's highly reliable, scalable, and fault tolerant. And again, like if it is fault tolerance, it has the replication strategy, load balancing queries. It is open source. And so this is about the Apache Solr. So this is the high level overview of the Solr. It's the same thing as it uses everything from the Lucerne, like its libraries and everything from the Lucerne. So the process of, let's say, inverted index or searching purpose is same. So basically, Solr uses the Lucerne, we can say, under the hood, or we can say definitely Lucerne itself is a powerful engine framework. You can say that, which adds some search capability to the applications, or it is basically an easy to use API while hiding all of the search related complex operations. And any application which uses the the Lucerne libraries, we can just say that is actually basically the Solr. Solr is built around the Lucerne. So every feature PDF schema of will be with its value before the text is it the mandatory field? Is it in terms of like true and false? You can give any value if it is mandatory or not, and then multi-valued. Would it will contains multiple values? For example, any text which has like pizza, food, so it has like different multi-values. So then it is true or false. So it depends on your data, how your data looks like. But these are the some of the attributes of data types. So here we have the type string. So you have to change that type according to your data. So make sure like either you can keep it string, text, journal. So you have to edit your schema according to your data. So this is the commands. Here it says film dataset commands. So basically these are the dataset, that is the books dataset. It says data type. So here we have the type. So time not on uploading the data for the first time, but for the second one, because you are using the same collection. So for second one, you need to address these commands in order to edit the schema or for the instance directory and collections. I have also given some of the explanation for these commands. So for example, how like what for what purpose solar instance directory contents of instance directly as it is, what type of data you are using first, or what type of data you're using second, like you're using books on first instance, or you're using film on the for the second time. So let's go over the ICP first. Let me open the ICP. So your ICP says you have two given data sets. You can download the data sets from the given links. The first one is the film data set. So you have to apply the queries, keyword matching, wildcard matching, proximity matching, range searches, and fuzzy logic. Please make sure to search for these queries, and you should have a good explanation why these queries and for what purpose these queries are useful. So make sure you understand this. Then you have the second data set, that is the books data set. It says execute any 5 queries on the given data set that we have provided you in the slides. So you can execute any 5 queries out of that. However, for the film data set, you need to explore the queries that is from the keyword matching, wildcard matching, proximity matching, range searches, and fuzzy logic. So these are some of the queries you need to address. So it's pretty simple. We have given you 2 data sets. So make sure to go over these data sets. And the important thing is like you should be able to work in the SolarLucent and apply these queries.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how do these technologies fit into our project? How does that fit into analyzing a data set, whatever that we're going to do for the project?
Yeah, so if you're using, if you have mentioned like you will be using the solar and lucent, let's say, so for let's say data analysis purposes, or for in order to you want to clean the data for your project, you can use some of the advanced queries, because the solar and lucent usually like the queries that I have mentioned, and here some of the queries which are you will use for the film data sets. So these are useful where these only these queries you can apply in the solar and lucent. So you can use the solar and lucent interface to work on the data sets, whatever you are addressing in your project.
You mentioned cleaning up the data. How would you clean up the data with Solar or Lucent?
So for example, you have whatever is required, you want to see the particular range, or you want to look for the only, let's say, some of the words, yeah, or you want to use the proximity searching or fuzzy searching for your data set. Again, it depends on your project, but just as a simple example, so in that case, you can just apply those queries and get only that data what is required for your project.
Okay.
So again, it depends on like your project and your idea, like whether the proximity search, wildcard match, fuzzy search, is it required in your project or not? If it is, then you can integrate that in your project. If you're just going for the normal queries, that can be done in Hive, then you can use Hive only.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, so you can just create breakout rooms. And please make sure to start working on the project from now, because you are already done with first 6 lectures. So at least you should be able to work at least from these parts on your project. Once we review your project, if there are any changes, we can just recommend you. Otherwise, whatever idea you have posted, if it is okay, if there is no like changes, if the complexity of the project is good enough for the semester, or you are addressing at least three technologies from the Hadoop and three from the Spark, so you are set. You can just start working on the project, because soon you will have like in few weeks a deadline for your increment one. So make sure you do not miss anything. Please join the breakout room.